Okay, and we're back. It has been 3 hours now for the stoves corned beef. I'm just gonna fork it and see how that's coming along. And this is forking pretty good. So this is almost done. I'm going to show you that's almost done. So what I'm going to do, since I still have a half an hour on the pressure cooker, is I'm going to turn the temperature down to low. I'm going to go ahead and put my oven on 250 degrees. And let that warm up. I'm also going to move the rack more to the middle of the oven. And what that's going to do is that's just going to preheat. And I'm going to slide, as soon as the oven heats up to the 250 degrees, I'm going to slide my platter just to keep my platter warm. You always want to do that, and you always want to make sure, if you're using a platter such as this, that it is oven safe, that it is able to go in the oven. And this definitely can go into the oven. If you're using fine china, make sure that they're oven safe. Not all china can go into the oven. So, the next thing is to start to get our vegetables ready. It's too early for the pressure cooker because it still has 28 minutes, plus an additional 15 to 20 minutes to naturally come out. But we can start getting our parsnip and our carrots and potatoes ready to go. So I'm going to flip you guys around. And my husband was nice enough today. He got me the lemons. So the next video I will be recording tomorrow will be the hoska and maybe the donuts. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just getting our carrots out. And our parsnip. And like I said, parsnip and carrots do need to be peeled. Since I've already got a significant amount of vegetables in this, I'm not going to be using all that much. The one thing with parsnip you'll find is different ones. The big ones have a slightly bitter taste than the small ones. I'm going to use this big one, and that's all I'm going to put in my vegetable. Now, if you get parsnips, turnips, you can definitely use those in a soup. And since I have so many vegetables right now, I'm only going to do a couple of carrots. I'm not going to overwhelm the corned beef and cabbage with a bunch of carrots. And I just bought a bunch of fresh carrots, and I'm going to find the big carrots. And we're just going to use 2. Carrots obviously can be used in other things. You can use them in salads. You can cook carrots. You can eat them raw. What we're going to do is we're just going to rinse them off, even though we are going to be peeling them. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other vegetables, is we're just going to give them a peel. Get this plastic bag off of my hands. Okay, there we go. And parsnips are really easy to peel. They'll peel. Ice, you don't want that. Belly, you don't want that either. Parsnips will peel kind of like a potato, sort of like a carrot. I'll show you this in a few minutes. I'm just gonna get all of the peelings off of it. And that's my peeled parsnip. I'm just going to do, while I'm here, I'm going to move you guys over a little bit. My oven just went off, or heated up to 250, so I'm just going to go ahead and slide my platter in, and I think I'm going to turn the oven down a little bit. I'm going to turn it down to 220 degrees, because it doesn't need to be overly hot. I'm just finishing up the carrots. Now with corned beef and cabbage, you can add the nice thing about corned beef and cabbage is you can add as many vegetables as you want, or you can omit, like if there's a particular vegetable you don't like, you don't have to add it. And if you're not a huge cabbage fan, you can also leave that out, and then it would be corned beef and vegetables instead of corned beef and cabbage. Okay, I've got my carrots all peeled, and I'm going to move you guys onto this side so you can see this a little bit better. See if you guys can see this. Move that over. Okay, you just want to take the ends of your carrots off. And I take just a little bit. I just take the tips off. And then you're going to want to do the same thing with the tops. Now, what I do is I will actually cut these in half and just have 4 chunks. Like I said, if you are a fan of carrots, you can do as big or as little or as many carrots as you want. I'm just using 2 carrots, so I just cut them in half. With your parsnip, what you're going to want to do, and this is also a root vegetable, the root is right at the top. What you're going to do is you're going to cut that off and discard that. Now what I do is I cut it in half long ways and then quarter it. And they are a little bit tricky to cut because they are much harder than a carrot to do. But this is the inside of a parsnip. I'm just going to cut them into wedges. You might, if you're using parsnip and turnips and rutabagas, you might get those all mixed up. And it's okay if you do. If you try a new vegetable, you might discover you like it. But if you don't like it, then you know you got either a turnip or parsnip. Or a rutabaga. Well, the rutabaga you'll notice because those are really, really thick. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these off to the side. I'm going to get our potatoes done. And like I said, because it's just me and my husband, and because there are so many vegetables in this, I'm only going to do a couple of potatoes. We really don't like a lot of potatoes. I'm only going to put 3 in here because there are enough vegetables already in the corned beef and cabbage that you don't need to overwhelm the vegetables. Now again, when you do the potatoes, I'm going to stop you guys because you're at 10 minutes right now. So I'll be right back. And like magic, I'm back. What you're going to do with your potatoes is you're going to wash them. And like I said, if you have new potatoes or small potatoes, you're not going to have to quarter them. But if you're using a regular potato, I'm using a red potato. To cut the cook time down, I'm just going to cut these in half. I'm going to move you guys so you guys can see, well, you guys can see over there what I did. Is I just cut the potatoes in half. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do an overwhelming amount of potatoes. Those potatoes made 6 halves, so that's enough for 2 people. If you're a bigger family and you want to add more vegetables, you certainly can. Unfortunately, I don't have a big, should probably use a plate than a bowl because I think this is not going to hold this. But again, what you're going to want to do is the same thing you did with the cabbage and the other vegetables, is just put these guys all in a bowl and then put them back in the refrigerator until you're ready to use them. This is especially true for the potatoes and the parsnip, because what will happen over time is they will actually start to turn brown. So I'm going to stick. Hopefully if my carrots don't, okay, there we go. And I'm going to turn you guys around so you guys can see this. Hopefully I don't drop you guys. Okay, there we go. And as you can see in the top of these are the other vegetables. I'm just going to set these on the bottom right here. And they'll be all ready to go. I'm going to put my parsnip and my carrots back in the drawer. Now, normally with this, I would have fresh parsley. Unfortunately, I don't have any fresh parsley. I used it for something else. So, as soon as the pressure cooker is done, I'm going to take both meats out and platter them. And then we'll come back and I'll show you what you need to do for your vegetables.